CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. We live in a computer world. I suppose, like all of you, I am not alone in resenting the machines which sometimes spell out figures that you know are wrong. You can only hope that somewhere another human being will also know it's wrong, because the machine, fleshless and bloodless, pays you scant attention. So in this story, it is not a bit surprising that in what is the greatest bureaucracy in the world, well, at least of the world, one small, insignificant cog in the whole machinery could fail to function correctly, precipitating a disastrous result.
Look out! He'll run us down!
Don't worry.
Are you out of your mind? He went right over us.
Well, through us.
We could have been killed.
But we weren't. That's one of the advantages of being already dead.
Our mystery drama, Dead Wrong, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Ralph Bell and Jack Grimes. It is sponsored in part by True Value Hardware Stores. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Think of your True Value Hardware Store's paint department as a home improvement center. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you their True Test paints can help make a major improvement in the appearance of your home, indoors and out. True Test Easy Care Interior Latex Flat Enamel has a tough, scrubbable finish that will keep your walls looking as fresh as the day you painted them. And you can choose Easy Care in white or 44 decorator colors. The True Test Weatherall Acrylic Latex House Paint from True Value Hardware Stores has a breather-type finish that expels damaging moisture to resist blistering and peeling. And it's available in 35 Jamestown colors plus white. Get True Test Weatherall and Easy Care. They've both earned the Good Housekeeping seal and are available exclusively at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
True Value Hardware is more than just a name. It's a way of doing business that feels True Value.
York Furs, the touch of elegance. A York fur is unique, put together with painstaking detail by master craftsmen doing what they do best. Because at York Furrier of Elmhurst, the greatest care and craftsmanship goes into the creation of every garment. You can feel the quality of a York fur, from the texture of the pelts to the way it moves when you wear it. York Furs, the touch of elegance. York Furrier, the signature of excellence. 107 North York Road in Elmhurst, the finest furrier in the world.
And now you can enjoy exceptional savings on York's entire collection of more than 2,000 beautiful furs. Choose from the finest lynx, fox, raccoon, sable, and many others, including York's famous natural mink. Come to the exciting pre-season fur sale in progress through September 16th at York Furrier in Elmhurst.
We've become a nation of health fiends. The bicycle is in the midst of a renaissance. Most of our population labors through each day on one diet system or another. People are out punishing themselves jogging. America has always been a land of excess, and when we make mistakes, there is never anything small about them. The temper of our times. Just look at what happened to Peter P. Bell.
Oh, wow, Marge. I'm beat. That was a wild last set.
It sure was, Petey boy. But we won.
So what?
I don't know. Isn't that the whole idea of tennis?
I suppose so. Any beer on ice?
Yes.
I'll get it.
No, you won't. I don't want you fiddling about in my icebox.
Oh, your icebox?
All you did was pay for it. I maintain it.
And me. What would I do without you?
Well, I hope you never have to, lover. Now, the larger question is, what would I do without you?
Oh, you don't have to worry about me. I may be pushing the half-century mark, but I'm as healthy as a horse.
Now, you do tend to overdo, though, honey. Here's your beer.
Thank you. Overdo what?
You played 2 pretty rough sets of singles before our doubles match.
Oh, you played some singles, too.
Ah, yes, but then I am a bit younger.
Oh, hardy-har. You can tell your age, lover girl, by the terms that you use.
What does that mean?
Icebox, indeed. That went out with 23 Skidoo. The term of reference is refrigerator or fridge.
What's the difference so long as it makes things cold?
None. Unless it happened between us.
No chance of that. I love you, husband.
I love you, Marge. Oh, good Lord. 27 years. The best years of our lives.
Correction. The best years are yet to come.
Too right. Here is to the next 27.
I'll drink to that. Look, why don't you just lie there and give your tired old muscles a rest? I have to run into town.
Oh, what for?
Sooner or later, your stomach will be clamoring for attention. We're going to have pork chops cooked outdoors tonight, and I forgot to get applesauce. And I have to drop off the big coffee maker at the Pryor's.
Okay. Want me to start the fire?
No hurry. I'll be a good hour or so. I think we'll eat in here. It's blowing up a storm out there.
Yeah, it was pretty windy during the last part of the set.
Now, if you fall asleep on me, I'll wake you up in time to get the chops on.
Who's going to fall asleep?
You. I would bet on it. And I think you should. You need the rest.
Hey, will you stop putting my foot in the grave?
Peter Bell, don't even suggest such a thing.
My dear, it's only a pleasantry.
Not to me. I want you around for a long, long time.
Well, don't you worry. Your words will live to haunt you. I lay back after she went thinking, darn it, I feel so good. I have the best wife in the world. I'm at the productive peak of my life. I'm in the prime of health. Our children are out in the world, each successful in his own way. And Marge and I are living a second honeymoon with nothing missing from the first except inexperience. This one is total enjoyment. The whack of the screen door brought me awake, if indeed I had been asleep. I thought, of course, it was Marge coming back. But instead, it turned out to be my introduction to Elmer Potts. Yes, can I help you?
Yes, I think so. Dear me, that wind is so... I can't seem to find that.
You've lost something?
Well, your name and address, but I can remember it. You are Mr. Peter P. Bell.
Yes, that's right. But I'll be frank, Mr. whoever you are.
Elmer Potts.
If you came to sell me something, I am not buying.
Oh, I didn't come to sell you anything. I've come to fetch you, Mr. Bell.
Fetch me where?
Over there, to the other side.
The other side of what?
But I don't blame you for not wanting to accept it. I was the same way myself. I just said, why, this is silly. This can't be happening to me.
This what?
This being dead. I didn't want to die either.
What are you talking about?
You, Mr. Bell.
Are you trying to say that I'm dead?
You have to be.
Why?
Because otherwise, why would they send me for you?
Send you? Who?
Well, the controllers and whoever runs it over there. I can't tell you too much because I'm so new myself.
New to what?
Well, to being dead. This is my first time back since I passed over.
Hey, what kind of a nut are you?
Well, if you'll excuse a little joke, a hard one to crack, because there isn't any substance to me, just like you are now.
What do you mean?
Well, there's just the spirit part, and the body's left behind. Look, in the chair you got up from.
Say, that's me. That is me, sitting there.
Well, it was. It's just a husk now.
Hey, what kind of tricks are you trying to play on me?
None. I know it's hard getting used to it first, and it hits different people different.
Oh, but I can't be dead. I'm not even 50. And I'm in the best of health, and I'm happy. I have everything to live for.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bell.
Oh, no, there must be some mistake.
Look, I'm sorry. I haven't got time to argue with you. I've got a schedule to maintain, so we'd better get started. We got a long way to go.
Wait a minute. Where are we going?
Over there.
Where is there?
where you go when you die. You like it once you get used to it. Come on.
What right have you to take me anywhere? Who are you anyway, huh?
Well, I'm just Elmer Potts, like I told you. But I've been delegated, and that means you have to go.
Delegated by whom?
Well, directly only by my controller, but he acts on orders of the supervisor, the man himself.
But that isn't the way it works. It's death that comes to take people away.
Well, that's what I thought, too, before I made my crossing. But, well, you can see now, like I can see, that was only in olden times. There are too many people kicking off now for one person to handle the whole thing, so that's just like one of the dirty jobs you get handed when you're new over there.
Jobs?
Sure. Now, come on, we got to get a move on.
And I am not going with you.
Mr. Bell, you haven't any choice. You got to go with me. You're dead.
I set every ounce of will and muscular strength I had to resist this pale, small lunatic, or magician, or whatever he was. But his hand under my elbow propelled me inexorably forward, right through the screen door of the porch and on towards the front of my house. The terror of it was clotting my throat. I saw my neighbors on each side outdoors, and I tried to yell to them, or wave, but my voice was frozen in my throat, and my arms riveted to my side as if bound in iron chains. I almost wished they had been, for I found that the wind was literally lifting me off my feet.
You'll have a little trouble being weightless at first, like the astronauts, you know, but you'll get the hang of it.
Where are we going?
To the bus. I think we'd better cross the street here.
Now get back. This crazy kid will run us down.
Don't worry.
Are you out of bounds? He's gonna... He went right over us.
Well, through us.
He didn't even stop.
He didn't see us.
We could have been killed.
But we weren't. And that's one of the advantages in being dead. You can't be hurt anymore.
But I don't want to be dead.
Yeah, come right down to it. I suppose that's the main disadvantage. None of us do. Well, come on. We mustn't miss the bus.
Bus? Why do we have to go by bus? I imagined after it was all over, well, I don't know. You just sort of be there. Or fly free, or... I don't know what I thought.
Yeah, no, you're quite right. Everyone used to go first class, but like I say, in times like these, everyone is cutting back. Let's see, I need 4 quarters for the bus. Oh, bother.
What's wrong?
Yeah, but I'm out of change, and the bus is coming. Would you have 50 cents in change?
You have some nerve. You mean I have to pay my way into heaven?
Oh, please, I'll pay it back as soon as we get there. You wouldn't want me to get into trouble on my very first pickup, would you?
If nobody can see us, why do we have to pay at all?
Well, it's the principle of the thing. Now, how would it look for anyone from our side to try to gyp a 50-cent bus ride?
The bus was crowded, and we had to stand. I wanted to laugh or cry with frustration. To die was bad enough. To die unexpectedly, even worse. But worst of all was this ludicrous end to it all. Swinging from a strap in an overcrowded bus, dressed in tennis shorts, beside a small, undistinguished angel in a faded rayon polo shirt and pair of worn, striped, unpressed slacks. The bus ride ended at the airport. All right. Now what, Elmer?
Oh, I have to go and check on the charter. It's probably late. They're always late. Why don't you wait here for a moment while I check on the flight?
All right.
Oh, and please, don't try to run away or something. It wouldn't do you any good, you know. It'd just be a bother.
I won't try to run away.
Good. There isn't anywhere to run anyway, except the other place, and you wouldn't like it there at all.
I'll stay put, don't worry. But after he disappeared, I thought, at least I can call Marge. Maybe say goodbye. Tell her I'm all right. I fished in the pocket of my shorts and found I still had a dime. I crossed to the phone booth, and following instructions, I picked it up to listen for the dial tone before I dropped the dime in.
I'm sorry. The number you have dialed is no longer in service.
But it has to be in service. It's my number.
I repeat, the number is no longer...
You're not a record. Are you live?
That is a question I prefer not to answer.
All right. Never mind that. I want to get the number I dialed.
What was the number?
555-6381.
As I told you, that number is no longer in service.
It has to be in service. It's my number, you stupid...
I do not have to listen to abusive language. If you will control yourself, I will complete my sentence. That number is no longer in service to you.
I stood there, hanging on that phone, the empty dial tone whining, and I never in my life felt so unutterably alone. Now I knew absolutely and completely that I was dead. I didn't know how or why, but there was no escape.
Is this what it's like beyond that final curtain? Is Peter P. Bell actually dead? Of course not, you answer scornfully. He's only fallen asleep and is dreaming all this. Well, that could be the answer, but it isn't in our story. I'll give you a hint. Peter is completely dead as of the moment. But if he is, you say, then that's the end of the story. But it isn't. I shall return shortly with Act 2.
Sewing can be so easy when the experts show you how. Sewing can be so easy, you can start creating now.
I'm Polly Bergen for Singer and for Sewing. Singer has been making sewing easier longer than anybody. With machines, lessons, fabric, everything you need to sew. Come to Singer and see how easy we'll make it for you.
100 million people sew easier with Singer.
I see America working harder every day to educate her people to live a better way.
The United Negro College Fund has helped blacks fulfill their potential in walks of life where they couldn't walk before.
We want to give our best, please understand. We're not asking for a handout, just a hand.
Give to the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. A public service of this station and the Ad Council.
Northwest Federal Summertime. It's Northwest Federal Summertime, summer savings time.
Ah, sun, fun, and song. People have lots of ways to spend summertime, and Northwest Federal gives you lots of ways to save. Choose one of 23 gifts free or for special low prices when you deposit $250 or more at any Northwest Federal Savings Center. There's an Igloo ice chest, a Weber grill, a Norelco Gotcha hairdryer, a Sunbeam hand mixer, and other gifts to help make summer savings a little easier. So when summer's over, you'll have more than a suntan to show. So sing.
It's Northwest Federal Summertime, 63 hours a week. Summer's
Left a bleak and despairing Peter P. Bell at the airport, bemoaning the fact that he was dead. He is invisible, and since he has tried to call to his neighbors for help and cannot reach his wife on the phone, he is truly incommunicado. It's what shall we say? It's a heaven of a situation. That's where he's bound. Only he is far from happy at the whole prospect, as his guide to the beyond returns from checking on their charter flight.
I thought you'd never get back, Mr. Potts.
Oh, I'm sorry, Peter. Everything is chaos. Of course, the flight is late. It looks like a long trip. You might as well call me Elmer if you want.
All right, Elmer.
Well, what have you been doing since I was gone?
I tried to phone my wife.
Now, that was silly. You can't go trying to call your wife on the regular telephone when you're dead.
Well, how can I reach her?
In the course of time, through the regular channels, I suppose.
What are the regular channels?
Well, like I say, I'm new, and I've only skimmed through the orientation book, but I guess it would depend on religion, or maybe a seance with the right medium. You could look it up yourself once you're all settled in.
I don't want to be settled in. I can't be dead. Just doesn't make sense.
We all feel that way to start off.
Now, listen to me, Elmer. Something is wrong here. There's got to be some mistake.
No possibility. No possibility at all.
Now, you said you lost my name and address or something when you first came in, didn't you?
I thought I had lost the invoice, but while I was digging for the airplane tickets, I found it. Here.
Let me see.
Sure. There you go. There you go. Right there.
Peter B. Pell. 25 Sperling Drive. There is a mistake. That's not me.
Your name is Peter, isn't it? You live on Sperling Drive?
No, Sterling. S-T with a T, a T.
But you do live at 25?
Yes, but...
well, a typographical error.
No. Look, you got to listen to me now. Sperling Drive's about 4 or 5 blocks from us. And there is a guy just moved in there. Our mail gets mixed up. His name is Peter B. Pell with a P. And that's not me. I'm Peter P. Bell with a B. And I live at 25 Sterling Drive, not Sperling. I know it. You got the wrong man.
Wait, let me see that invoice.
Yeah, well, sure.
Peter B. Peter P. Sterling. First to 25. Yep. Oh, it's not fair.
Fair, it sure in heck isn't.
I mean, to me.
I meant to me.
But I didn't make the confusion.
Well, neither did I.
Still in all, you should have done something about it before this.
You think I haven't? We have a Sterling Avenue Association to bring pressure to have Sperling Avenue change its name. But they have an association wanting us to. So the whole mess has been bogged down for years now.
Why did Peter B. Pell have to move on that street?
Yeah, that's what I say. The mail is fouled up all the time.
So why didn't you move out or something?
Hey, listen, I was on my block first. Long before him, I built my house mostly with my own hands. Why didn't he move out?
Well, how should I know?
Well, you should have known. You should have moved him out for me.
I made a mistake. We all do.
Yeah, well, we can all correct them, too, and you better correct this one. It's a beaut, I tell you that.
No, look, Mr. Pell. I mean, Mr. Bell.
Just call me Peter.
That won't do any good. There's no way of keeping you straight that way.
Pete.
I'd better stick to Mr. Pell. Bell, I mean. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Don't look at me. I can't help.
That's it. You can, yes. Oh, have a heart, Mr. Pete?
Pete, yes, Pete.
Yes, Pete. Look, this is my first assignment, and I don't want to foul up. It's kind of the story of my life, so I figured with a new start, maybe it doesn't have to be the story of my death, if you know what I mean.
What are you asking me?
Couldn't we just let things lay?
You mean I should just roll over and play dead just so you don't make another foul up?
Oh, I sure would appreciate that gesture.
Gesture? Now, look. I want to get back to my wife. Or better still, back to my home before she comes back and finds me dead in that chair. I don't want to put her through that.
I can appreciate your concern, but I don't know how to do it.
To do what?
Get you back there.
You can go blow. I'll get back myself.
Oh, you can't do that.
Oh, yes, why not?
Well, it isn't that easy. I mean, the books have just got to be, reconciled. I'm just afraid there's no way out.
Oh, that's going to be your attitude.
Well, it sort of has to be, I guess.
Let me see that invoice again.
Oh, all right. See, the name is wrong. I admit that. Between us, anyway.
Now, hold it a minute. I'm reading something.
Well, what?
The fine print. I happen to be a lawyer.
Yo, just my luck.
Here, you see?
What?
Oh, never mind. I'll read it to you. This invoice, void and non-collectible unless with addressee's signature. You never asked me to sign anything.
I didn't see that clause. I came without my glasses. I always was forgetting them, but my daughter was there to remind me.
Yes, I guess she wasn't this time, eh?
Well, of course not. She's alive and well and living in East Pocono.
Oh, bully for her.
Yes.
That goes for me. I want to be alive and well and living in East Smithfield. Now, how do we go about getting me back to that happy state, eh?
You're going to insist?
You're darn well right I'm going to insist.
Well, I don't know how to go about it. I'm sure it's very complicated. I'll have to call my superiors.
Oh, great. Come on, let's get tracking.
They may be a bit put out with me.
That's your problem. Mine looms a little larger on my horizon. Come on, get on that phone.
I don't think I have any coins.
I'm willing to venture a dime.
Well, you'll get it back. It's a toll-free number. You know, they're really awfully busy, and I'm not sure anything can be done. I mean, it's unfortunate, but too late.
It better not be, or I'll sue for false arrest. Or soul mapping, or whatever you want to call this.
You'd have the nerve to sue?
Yes?
Is this the person to whom I'm speaking to?
To whom did you wish to speak?
You see, I'm new. This is pickup messenger 006534219, sector 1427.
Never mind all that. What's your name?
Elmer Potts. You might not know me. I'm new.
Nonsense. We watch every sparrow that falls. What's the problem, Elmer?
Well, you see, this is all kind of fresh to me. I mean, this is my first time, and
Get to the point, Elmer. What did you do? Pick up the wrong one?
Oh, how did you know?
As I told you, we watch every sparrow that falls.
Watch every sparrow that falls. Yeah, but you see, I picked up the wrong bird.
You've got to learn to keep your eye on the ball.
I know, but I didn't. What do I do now?
I'd suggest you go back and make an exchange.
But this one, I mean, the one I did pick up is threatening to sue for false arrest or something.
He's within his rights.
Oh.
If I were you, Elmer, I'd get on back to the one you should have brought and somehow convince him he's got to go.
Yeah, but just in case I run into trouble...
I'd say you already have. However, in the meantime, I'll take this right to the top and get a ruling. But I think you'll find out my suggestion's the only one that will work.
Okay, well, wait a minute. I haven't any transportation, and I'm out of money. What do I do about that?
I'm sure you'll find a way.
But how?
Your pickup. Hasn't he any dough?
Well, maybe, but
Then borrow it from him. Tell him you have the best of credit.
Well, what happened?
Well, we got to go back to Peter B. Pell and talk him into taking your place.
Oh, why shouldn't he? He was sick or dying, wasn't he? Or you wouldn't have been sent in the first place?
I guess you're right. Oh, dear. Oh, if he's waiting for me, I shouldn't keep him waiting.
All right, then let's go.
The only thing is... Would you have bus fare?
No.
Oh, well, I guess we'll have to walk.
Oh, forget it. We'll hijack a cab or something.
That's against the law.
Yes, I know. But we'll take a chance. I had to drag Elmer the equivocator out of the airport and outside. Traffic was getting heavy and lots of cars were unloading, and cabs dropping off and trying to hang around for pickups. I spotted one where the driver had made a sign to a cop friend and ducked inside to the John. In a moment, Elmer and me were in the front seat and taking off.
I never did anything like this in my life.
You think I did?
Then what are we doing it for now?
I guess you could say it's a matter of death and life.
What's that?
It's cops.
Are they going to stop us?
Not so long as I can keep ahead of them. It was a wild chase and a reckless one. But I really enjoyed it. I suppose it was kind of unfair. But what did I have to lose? There was nothing of me to get hurt if I did smash up. And, at least for the moment, how dead is dead. We got most of the way home before they started to overtake us. So at the last moment, I pulled over to the side and screamed to a stop. All right, come on, Elma, out.
Oh, I don't know if my legs would... I'm scared to death.
Forget it. You're only deathly scared.
But what do we do now?
This is one we just walk away from. I'm sorry for those poor cops. They had us dead to rights. Only they didn't know we were so dead that they can't even see us.
How do we get the rest of the way?
We play ghost for real, Elma. And walk. We We left the befuddled cops carefully surrounding a completely empty taxicab, moving in carefully to find nothing but a $6.85 tab run up on the meter. I just hoped the next deal would be so easy to close with Mr. Peter B. Pell.
So, like I say, Mom, the way I figure it's any moment now. Huh? No, I was upstairs 45 minutes ago, and honest, I figured this was it. Well, you know how stubborn he is. He keeps on hanging in. Oh, no question. The doctor's everyone. He should have cashed in his chips a long time ago. Yeah, while I'm talking on the phone, who knows, maybe he crossed over. Oh, sure, we're going to be comfortably fixed for life, Mom. It's all I've been waiting for. Just as soon as he kicked... Wait a minute. Good Lord, Mom. It's him coming downstairs. I don't know what resurrected him. But, yeah, don't worry. I'll call you back. Pete? That you?
Yeah, Blanche.
What are you doing out of bed?
That's a good question. You know what?
What?
I'm out of bed because I feel like being out of bed.
But the doctor said...
The devil with the doctors and what they said. I was ready to cash it all in until about 45 minutes ago. And then something wonderful happened. Then the pain stopped. I want to tell you, Blanche, I never felt better in my life. And that's what I'm going to hang on to now from here on in. Nobody's ever going to take it away from me.
Which bodes no good for Peter P. Bell, the protagonist of our story, who has found himself unfairly tapped for the grave. If his only chance of escaping an untimely death depends on his alter ego, it would seem that he has little chance of persuading him to change places. I'll return shortly with Act 3.
In America, abandoned cars litter the land. But the people in Lexington, Kentucky are removing 100 of them a month. We discard millions of used tires, but in New Jersey, they're turning old tires into playgrounds for children. Our streets and countryside have become dumping grounds for trash, but all across America, people are now recycling 8 million tons of it a year. We create staggering amounts of garbage, but in Virginia Beach, they turned a mountain of garbage into a recreational hillside. Pollution is destroying our beachfronts and waterways, but in Huntington, Long Island, they're planting seagrass which cleanses the water for wildlife and man. The cure for pollution is people working together. For a brochure on what you can do, write Keep America Beautiful Incorporated, 99 Park Avenue, New York, 10016. A public service message of this station, the Advertising Council, and Keep America Beautiful.
It's about time, Chicago. About 12 times a day to New Orleans, to Houston 9 times a day, and to St. Louis 12 times a day. I'm talking about the number of times a day Delta jets take off to these cities. You know, Delta has the most nonstops to New Orleans, 5 a day, including a 9 p.m. night coach. To Houston, Delta has 4 daily nonstops, with the only wide-ride TriStar going. And when it comes to St. Louis, let's see someone top Delta's 9 nonstops from O'Hare and 3 from Midway. What's more, you can save on Delta Super Saver fares with some restrictions. Night coach as low as $96 round trip to New Orleans, $103 round trip to Houston, $45 round trip to St. Louis. So Chicago, it's about time. About time you call Delta or your travel agent. Delta is ready when you are.
This is WBBM in Chicago.
It was Daniel Webster, the famous trial lawyer, who coined the phrase, fearful concatenation of circumstances. But whatever the circumstances that caused him to say that, they could scarcely hope to match the one that Peter P. Bell faces now. Fortunately, he can still hope, because he doesn't know what we know, that the man who should have died, Peter B. Pell, is now luxuriating in his new lease on life and has no intention of letting it go.
Peter, I'm going to call the doctor.
You bring any of your old quacks around here, I'll throw them out on their ear. Who were you talking to on the phone when I came down?
That was just...
Your mother?
Well, yes. Is there anything unnatural about that?
Yes. Your mother.
That is a terrible thing to say.
Well, what else is there to say about your mother?
I don't want to talk to you.
Good. That makes it unanimous. Anyone wants me, I'll be out on the patio.
In your pajamas and robe?
What should I care? With a new lease on life?
He came out of the screen door into the sunshine, and I had my first look at the man who should have died instead of me. He was a small man. His color was ghastly. He looked like a corpse. His body was wasted. He moved as though he was walking on eggs. His shoulders were rounded in permanent defeat. I felt a surge of hope. He didn't appear to have all that much reason for living. Hi, Peter.
Who are you?
Sort of your namesake. My name is Peter P. Bell.
Oh, so you're the guy.
What guy?
The one my mail gets crossed with.
Oh, yes. I guess I am. And I have to tell you that another very important message kind of got crossed, too.
Yeah? What's that?
Well, first of all, I'd like you to meet Elmer Potts.
How do you do?
Hi. Say, where did you two suddenly appear from, anyway? I thought the front gate was locked. I built a fence for my privacy, and two guys just turn up out of the blue, paying no attention to signs or anything. Whatever you're selling, I'm not in the market.
I wouldn't be too sure of that.
What are you talking about?
Tell him, Elmer.
Yeah, this is really quite difficult.
Not if you lay it out the way you did with me.
But this isn't the same. I mean,
how is it any different since this is the man you really came for?
Look, I can't listen to a lot of double talk. I've been sick, and...
We know that, Mr. Pell.
You were a lot more than sick, Mr. Pell.
Well, whatever I was, I don't feel that way now.
Maybe you won't feel all that hot when I tell you the truth.
What truth?
My name is Elmer Potts.
So what?
Well, you see, I died kind of recently.
You what?
I passed over to the other side, and my job is to come and sort of escort the new, what shall I say, the new boy, get him settled in and kind of show him the ropes.
The trouble was, Mr. Pell, our friend here made a boo-boo and picked up the wrong guy.
Don't tell me the guys on the other side are that inefficient.
Well, you see what happened?
Well, just let's say for laughs that I go along with this charade or whatever it is. You're trying to tell me I was due to kick off, that Elmer here came to pick me up and got you by mistake?
That's just what happened.
I have all the papers if you'd like to see them.
What papers?
Well, this is the invoice here.
Let me see.
There it is.
To be delivered, one eternal soul, temporary property of Peter B. Pell, presently residing at 25 Sperling Drive, Lakeport Mansions. What kind of a gag is this?
Well, it's my credentials to pick you up for delivery, which I should have done about an hour ago.
So why didn't you?
Because he goofed. He picked me up instead.
Now, isn't that just too bad?
Well, it is when you consider this man was healthy and didn't feel at all like dying.
Well, who does?
An hour ago, you were ready to. I wouldn't have been sent for you otherwise.
An hour or two ago, I wanted to die. Now I've changed my mind. Who do you think you're kidding with this cockamamie story? I don't know what your game is, but you better get out of here before I call the police.
Well, that wouldn't do any good. This is beyond their jurisdiction. Mr. Pell, I ask you to be reasonable. Now, come with me. It's only fair. You should have been dead nearly an hour ago.
I'm not.
Peter Pell, I want you to come in off that patio right now.
That's my wife.
I want you back up in that bed the way you should be.
Why? I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh, no, you're not. You are sick.
You want to get rid of me?
You don't have to put it that way. It's just that I've made all my plans.
What plans?
About Mom and all.
You've told her she could come and live here?
You never would let her while you were alive.
Why should I? With a one-car garage, where would we park her broomstick?
You don't have to be coarse.
Coarse? About your mother? The only thing I could say in her favor is that she's better than her daughter. Not much, but better.
What do you mean, her daughter?
Well, how many has she got?
Me, and that's a rotten thing to say about me.
What else have you ever given me cause to say?
What chance have you ever given me to say something nice about you? Oh, why didn't you die?
Is that what you want?
You are not going to make me say it. You figure out whatever you want. Now, are you coming into the house?
No.
Why?
Because I don't feel like it.
Okay, that does it.
Where are you going?
To call the doctor. You never could see things straight. After a lifetime of driving me and my sweet mother and everybody else connected with you out of their minds, I finally realized the whole problem is that you've been out of yours ever since the beginning. Thank heaven I don't have to live with it anymore.
I'm not dead yet.
You might as well be. I'm going to have you locked up.
That's my wife. That's my life. Hey, where'd you fellas go?
Were you calling us?
Yeah, you guys. Look, I need some information.
But what?
I was supposed to die today, right?
Yes.
When was he supposed to die?
Who?
Him.
I think he means me.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah, well, who does?
I guess my superiors do, or someone above them.
Can you contact them?
I could try. I mean, I do have an emergency telephone number.
Well, then come on in and call them and ask them these questions. Maybe we can work this out between us after all.
This is pickup messenger 006-534-219-X.
All right, Elmer. We know who you are. What do you want?
Well, remember I told you I made a mistake?
And picked up the wrong soul, yes. Have you got the right one now?
Yes, I have.
Good. I've checked upstairs and it's okay. Just bring him in and the books are balanced.
Yes, the thing is, he's not willing to come along till he has the answer to some questions.
What questions?
Like, how much longer would he have to live if he didn't give up?
How much longer would who? If you mean Peter Bell, the man you picked up by mistake, a good long time. How long is priority information?
Well, could you give me just a hint?
Well, it's highly irregular, but let me see. Well, he'll be able to usher in the 21st century and then some, if you make the exchange.
Well, and if I don't, then the other guy will?
That's the way the ball bounces.
The guy's wife, her name is Blanche. Could you give me any rundown on her?
They could have my badge for this. But for the sake of keeping the book straight, let's see. Well, she's going to be around just about as long. But of course, she won't be headed for us when she checks out.
Oh, she's going to the other place?
Oh, definitely.
And her mother?
We try not to separate family members as long as they deserve each other.
25 years? I'm going to be stuck still with Blanche if I hang around?
It looks that way.
And her mother...
She's moving in. It's all set.
What's the point in living? You say if I head now for the happy hunting grounds, they won't follow?
I think reservations have been made for them elsewhere.
Okay, Peter Bell. What would you do in my position?
Well, I have to tell the truth. I'd want to stick around. But then Marge and me, well, you see, we've never been separated, and we never want to be.
Straight goods?
Straight goods.
25 more years with Blanche and her happy mother. Who's kidding who? Okay, Elmer. You're not making any boo-boos this time. Come on. Take me home.
There should have been a flash of light in the heavens or something, but it was all anticlimax. The three of us walked to the bus stop, which was on my way home. And the last I saw of Elmer was as he climbed aboard and called to me.
Well, I'll see you in a quarter century or so. That is, if I'm still on the same job.
Don't push it, Elmer. I'm not in any rush. I walked on home and onto my screen porch. It was just as I'd left it a little over an hour ago, except what was left of the beer was flat. I poured it out down the kitchen drain and took a fresh one out. I just returned to my seat when I heard the car pull up, and Marge's cheery...
Hello, darling.
Marge.
Oh, was I terribly long?
Centuries.
You missed me that much?
You will never know.
Hey.
Oh, this is love. Pure love. And Thanksgiving.
Well, whatever it is, it's good. Are you that glad to see me?
Always. And forever.
What have you been doing since I was gone? What have you been up to?
Thinking long thoughts about how lucky I am and how much I intend to appreciate it.
You all right, Peter?
Oh, Marge, darling, I can tell you unequivocally, for the life of me, I never felt better.
We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep, said Mr. Shakespeare. Is that the epilogue for this story? Was Peter P. Bell asleep and dreaming a strange dream? Or did an emissary of the Grim Reaper truly come for him? And was he fortuitously returned from the shadow of the dead? I leave it up to you to pick which explanation satisfies you most. I'll be back shortly.
Hey, Dad, here's a letter from Maria.
Maria?
My friend down in Brazil.
Oh.
She says her little brother was very sick, but at the clinic, the people from Project Hope helped his doctor to make him well.
That's great.
What's Project Hope?
Project Hope? Well, that's a group of doctors and nurses who share their medical skills with others in developing areas of the world. Let me show you something. You see this pebble?
Uh-huh.
Well, we drop it into the pond, and what happens?
It makes ripples, and they're spreading out bigger and bigger.
Okay. The Project Hope teams teach others who teach others and so on, so those medical skills spread out and multiply just like those ripples.
Well, I can tell Maria is happy. She says, "Obrigado, Project Hope."
Obrigado?
That's how Brazilians say thank you, Project Hope.
A generation of hope, helping save lives and make them better in 25 countries, including ours. Give to Project Hope, Room A, Washington, D.C. 20007. Help make waves.
Death, of course, is not a matter to be taken lightly. It is one of the two great events in the cycle of life. It comes in many forms, to each man individually, and is seldom welcome. Still, since it is inevitable, the great mystery of death ought not to smother us, to cast the dread shadow of fear across all our lives. Surely, like anything in the world, we should learn to laugh at it a little. For whatever we can laugh at, we need not fear. Our cast included Ralph Bell, Jack Grimes, Terry Keane, and Court Benson. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Life after death holds an unending fascination for everyone. Most of our interest, however, centers on life in either heaven or hell, and the possibility of ghosts and ghostly visitations. But in the summer of 1908, in the tiny hamlet of Visalia, Ohio, there was turmoil because of the imminent arrival of a man who claimed he had the power to bring the dead to life.
Lucas, you're the mayor of this town. Now, if there's any chance of me getting my daughter Phyllis back, then it's up to you.
Yeah, don't get yourself all worked up, Mary.
Yes, Mary, your daughter's dead. It's a sin even to think of bringing her back to life. I say this charlatan should be ridden out of town on a rail.
And now just back off, both of you. Nobody's being ridden out of Visalia while I'm mayor. And as for this professor raising the dead, well, we've got 5 days before he even comes to town to sit and think about it.
Our mystery drama, The Dead Come Alive, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Murray Burnett and stars Marion Seldes and Ralph Bell. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
When you travel from business or fun, turn to us when your day is done. Best Western's your place to stay, so give us a call. Turn it today. Come on and turn in America. Turn it out. Best Western, turn in America. Turn it out. Best Western, turn in America.
I'm your husband, and I'm telling you right here now.
I'm getting divorced and I want you out of here now.
Tammy Wynette, her pain, her pride, her men, her music, her story. Stand By Your Man, a CBS TV Tuesday night movie at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
Stand by your man.
Looking for ways to perk up springtime meals? Try Kraft Soft Parquet Margarine from Jewel. It makes a delicious difference in all kinds of foods. Add the fresh flavor of soft parquet to morning toast and enjoy the richness of butter with the easy spreadability of soft parquet. Or mix soft parquet into pancake batter for the lightest, tastiest flapjacks that ever hit your griddle. But don't limit that super taste to breakfast. Spread it around a little. Grilled sandwiches are ready in a jiffy when you spread the bread with soft parquet, and you'll love the buttery, crispy taste of your grilled cheese or Reuben. Buy soft parquet margarine at Jewel through April 5th. The convenient 2-tub package is just 79 cents. Keep soft parquet handy in the fridge, a tub for the table and one for cooking. And whenever you want to butter up your favorite recipes, use Kraft Soft Parquet from Jewel, because
You'll come back for the price.
The Bible gives us only one instance of the dead being brought to life. That miracle is accomplished by Jesus when he calls upon Lazarus to come forth, and Lazarus does. It's one thing when Jesus did it, but quite another when a mere mortal, a man of no particular distinction, claims that he can duplicate this miracle. Not only claims it, but says that he will prove it. That was the situation in the little town of Visalia, Ohio in 1908, as the townspeople awaited his arrival with high but mixed emotions.
What is so funny, Ralph?
Oh, Sheriff. Those darn fools standing in the road gawking.
waiting for that professor to come into town. Maybe they expect him to fly in or swoop down out of the clouds. They make me laugh.
You won't be doing much laughing when Professor Marvelli brings your Rachel back to life and you find yourself with 2 wives. Have you talked to Edith about that?
No, and I don't intend to. Because this is just a clever way of doing business. This here notice he put up in the post office about raising the dead is just a come on. He probably runs a traveling circus or a carnival.
And if he doesn't?
Then I figure the sheriff here and the mayor have themselves some kind of problem. Because the man must be either crazy or a demon.
It's him, there, Luke. It's him. Professor Marvelli. He's in one of those newfangled horseless carriages.
Calm down, Mary, please.
Mayor, I want you to promise that you'll listen to what he has to say. Oh, Lucas, do you think he can really do it? Bring the dead back to life? Do you think I'll see my Phyllis again?
It's kind of hard to believe, Mary.
But this notice here. Listen to what he says. Exactly at midnight on the 19th of July. Professor Leon Marvelli will be in the Atwood Cemetery at the town of Visalia. He will bring the dead to life. Any who wish to see their loved ones again as they were in the flesh will please attend. Signed, Professor...
I know, Mary, I know. I saw the notice in the post office. But those are just words. Anyone can print up a notice like that.
And anyone who did and then failed to deliver would be a sorry human being indeed, sir. I believe I am addressing Mayor Lucas Kane.
Yes, and you must be Professor Marvelli.
Lucas.
And this is Mrs. Mary Thatcher.
I want to ask you, Professor.
Mary, the professor and I have a lot to talk about. I'd appreciate some privacy.
Oh, Lucas.
Please, Mary, excuse us. Now, Professor, if you'll be so good as to step into my office here. Professor, I wonder if you realize that you caused more excitement in Visalia than anything since the fair in St. Louis a few years ago.
I resent that, Mr. Kane.
Oh? Why? How can what I've said...
Because, Mr. Mayor, you are lumping me in your mind with a carnival, a circus atmosphere. I assure you, this is a serious matter. Most serious.
I'm keenly aware of that.
Then you are probably not personally involved.
My wife of 28 years died 2 years ago, Professor. She lies at Atwood Cemetery today.
You're a most unusual man, Mr. Mayor, to remain so calm when in a few days you can face the prospect of being reunited with your beloved.
Yes, well, perhaps I do owe you an apology for my remark about the St. Louis exposition. You see, Professor, I would be both excited and apprehensive if I believed you.
Well, I understand your skepticism. Perhaps these may change your mind. As you can see, the majority of these letters are from various small towns in Europe. But that's because I've only been in America a short time. Now, here is one from a little New England village. Don't slip. As you can also see, it's signed by the mayor.
All right, just hold on. Just give me a chance here to read these, and we'll continue our conversation. Very impressive, Professor. Very impressive. I really don't know what to say.
Well, what is there to say? You have read the letters. You accept them as genuine.
They appear to be exactly as you represent them, yes.
Meaning you intend to check them out?
Well, as the mayor of this hamlet, I feel it's my duty to protect the citizens from what could be a very cruel hoax.
Yes, well, that is why my first visit was to you, to reassure you. Have I succeeded?
Well, let me answer that by saying that before you showed those letters, I was convinced that you were a charlatan. Now I'm not so certain.
Well, that is the first step on the road to belief.
Why are you doing this, Professor? And why did you pick Visalia?
Yes, well, you see, I studied for many years the ancient religions, even witchcraft, which, sir, I abhor. And in my studies, I employed the latest sciences, chemistry, electricity. And, sir, I made a discovery. I can bring the dead to life. And by so doing, I can bring happiness to many who are bereaved. And be paid for doing this service.
I see. So it's a business with you.
It's a unique service. A service which deserves to be paid.
And why Veselya?
Well, obviously, most people will be skeptical, or even worse, openly antagonistic. Therefore, I must select a village small enough for me to display my ability as, say, a sort of a sample that will convince everyone.
Oh, then your demonstration won't raise the whole population at Atwood Cemetery.
Oh, hardly. Although it would be possible. There will be certain people I'll select. Now, for example, you mentioned you were a widower? Yes? Now, if you will give me your wife's name...
I'm still trying to make up my mind about you, Professor, so let's leave my wife out of this.
Yes, as you choose, sir.
What about the appearance? Surely some of those...
corpses?
May have been dead for some time.
Well, as my printed announcement stated, Mr. Mayor, the appearance will be exactly as it was in their lifetime, or on the day they... passed over.
Yes, but some people died after a long and wasting illness. Others may have died violent deaths. Perhaps they were even disfigured. So
when a person is restored to life, that person cannot, by the very nature of the act, have any marks of death upon them.
Who is it? Yes, who is it? This is Thatcher. Mary Thatcher. Remember, we met at the mayor's office.
Ah, yes. Come in, Mrs. Thatcher. Well, how did you get my room number?
Oh, you mustn't be angry with Jonesy. We've known each other a long time, and I begged him, and he told me, oh, please say you forgive him.
Of course. Now, how may I help you, Mrs. Thatcher?
Well, how did you make out with the mayor? Is he going to try and stop you?
My dear Mrs. Thatcher, surely you didn't go to all the trouble of finding out my hotel room to come and ask a question which you could just as easily have asked the mayor.
No, this is important. You see, 3 years ago, my daughter, Phyllis, was murdered. And they've never caught the person who did it. And I miss Phyllis, and I was wondering what can happen. I mean, will Phyllis remember? And will she know the person who tried to kill her?
I see your problem, Mrs. Thatcher.
Well, what happened?
I suggest you come Saturday night and find out.
Lucas! Hey, Lucas! Hold up a minute. You sure set a good pace, Lucas. I guess I'm not as young as I used to be.
Who is? What's up, Carrie?
It's interesting, you deciding to visit the cemetery. Come here often?
When I feel like it.
Uh-huh. And I imagine you're feeling like it now. Particularly since we're only 2 days away from Saturday.
What do you want, Carrie?
I've just come from a meeting with some concerned citizens.
No names,
Well, let's just say they're important people. The kind of people who swing elections.
I'm asking you again, Carrie. What do you want?
We want to know what you're going to do about this Marvelli and his demonstration.
I haven't made up my mind.
You know this shouldn't be allowed.
Not everyone agrees with you.
But this Marvelli's a fake. He's going to be.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But he's got some mighty powerful credentials. Letters of recommendation from very important people.
They could have been forged.
Yeah, that occurred to me. So I sent off a telegram to the mayor of Dunslip, a little New England town where Marvelli had given a demonstration. Do you care to read the answer I got today?
No, I'll believe what you tell me.
The mayor wired me that Marvelli's no fake. He can do what he says he'll do, bring the dead to life.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, Professor. I was just closing up shop for the day.
Yes, I have something I think you should see.
Do I have to open up my office again, or...
No, I can show it to you if you'll walk me back to the hotel.
Oh, good deal. I ate quite a few meals there since Willa died. I'm not much of a cook, I guess.
Well, that could all be straightened out this Saturday night. You could be eating home again.
Well, I'd be lying if I didn't admit that I've thought about that. But, it's kind of... sort of gives me a weird feeling.
Yes, well, it takes getting used to, and that's a fact. And I know some people never get used to it. Like the committee.
The what?
The people who had this note slipped under the door of my hotel room a little while ago. I'd like you to read it.
Forget Saturday night and forget your demonstration. You'd better start thinking about how to bring yourself back to life. You've been warned. Signed, the committee. Well, Professor, I thought I knew the people of this town pretty well. But you haven't been here 24 hours, and you've turned them into something kind of ugly.
Not me, Mr. Mayor. It was always there. Must have been. Now, any ideas on the makeup of this committee?
None that I care to make public until I do some checking. And let me assure you, Professor, I'm going to do a lot of checking. And so is the sheriff. I won't have this kind of ugliness in Visalia.
Here we are at the hotel. I would eat with you, but I'm afraid that might prejudice some of the townspeople against you.
Down, Professor, down.
Now, we all know that no one can bring the dead back to life. It's simply impossible. But what about testimonials from reputable people swearing that this was true? Would that change your mind? I confess I'm beginning to have doubts, which will be resolved when we return shortly with Act 2.
The Bell System presents Hank Williams Jr.
From Gary, Indiana, trucking down to Newport News. Got another load of steel for the shipyard men to use. He's a bulldog diesel driver, he's 1,000 miles from home. Talking at a truck stop with his family on the phone. Reach out and touch someone. Wherever he goes, people at home know how much he really cares.
Take it from someone who knows the road seems a whole lot shorter when you pick up the phone and call home.
Riding blacktop rivers from the Great Lakes to the sea. Reaching out to those he loves to keep him company. Reach out and touch someone. Reach out, call up and just say hi.
6 p.m. You arrive at the party. 6:05 p.m. A neighbor asks you what you think about the local tax increase. 6:06 p.m. Embarrassed at your ignorance, you find a new conversation partner. 6:10 p.m. The person to whom you are talking asks about local movies and activities. 6:11 p.m. Embarrassed again by your ignorance, you leave the party. Get with it. Know what's happening to and for you in your local community, from politics to plays to people. Read your Learner Community newspaper for calendars of events, local news, from crime to creativity, fashion tips, food information, money-saving ads, lifestyle features, special sections, and much more. It's about and for you. From Learner, Booster, Skyline, Myers, Lifetime, Voice, Market Journal, the community newspapers that get you where you live.
famous Victor Herbert love song goes, "Ah, sweet mystery of life, at last I found you." But today's mystery involves a man who claims to have found the mystery of death. Not only found it, but solved it. And he goes around bringing the dead back to life, which gives rise to some problems.
Darn it, Lucas. I'm the sheriff. Now, this has been a fairly peaceable town until now. Now, we can't have people going around taking shots at other people.
That's why I told you about it, Sheriff.
You could hardly have kept it a secret. About 20 people heard the shot, and at least a dozen saw you and this Marvelli fella hit the dirt.
If I wanted to keep secrets, I wouldn't have shown you the note.
Okay. Now you and I got a pretty good notion of at least one of the members of this committee. You want me to face him with it?
You mean Carrie Wyndham?
Well, he's the one that's been making most of the noise.
Yeah, but he surely ain't going to admit having anything to do with this note threatening to kill Marvelli.
Hey, Lucas, now you're going to have to make a stand, and soon. Did you hear me, Lucas?
I'm sorry, daydreaming again.
Yeah, I know. I could see it in your eyes. You really think there's something to this, huh?
Well, if I do, I'm not the only one.
You can't count poor Mary Thatcher. She's been a little off the rails ever since Phyllis was killed.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of Mary. I was thinking of someone who was so scared that the professor might be able to bring the dead back to life that he or she was trying to kill him, to stop him.
Thunderation! Now, why didn't I think of that, huh? Of course! As far as I know, Phyllis Thatcher's the only person buried in Atwood Cemetery was murdered. Now, there may be others, but she's enough. Now, if this professor brings her back to life, she's sure shooting will be able to name her killer.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, and that's all the more reason for you to say that you're going to see to it that the demonstration is held. I'll put a deputy to guard the professor.
And tip off the murder? Oh, no, sir. Pete, you just hold everything for a while.
All right. Quiet down now, everyone. Let's listen to Carrie.
Thank you, Ralph. Without all this gabbing and fussing, I take it that the sense of this meeting is to let Mayor Lucas know that the people of Visalia ain't going to put up with any unholy goings-on in Atwood Cemetery or anywhere else. And that we, the people, want him as the mayor to tell that to this Marvelli.
All right, that's right. I, for one, vote that you be the man to tell him.
It's me, Professor. Mary Thatcher again. Please open the door. It's very important.
Please, Mrs. Thatcher.
I want you to come with me to the cemetery right away.
You're terribly upset. Please, come in. Sit down.
They're going to stop you, you know. They're going to stop you, and that's why I want you to come with me right now.
Who is going to stop me?
The mayor. I've just come from a meeting. And most of the important people in town were there, and they're sending Carrie Wyndham to the mayor to get him to stop you. And that's why you must come with me to the cemetery right now, so you can bring Phyllis back.
Not until Saturday night, Mrs. Thatcher.
But the mayor won't let you.
I have reason to believe that the mayor not only would try to stop me, but actually will help me.
But I just told you
that. The mayor was very much in love with his wife. Don't you agree, Mrs. Thatcher?
Well, they had a perfect marriage. Everyone knows that, but... Oh, you mean Mayor Lucas thinks you really can? But when I was in his office the other day, I got the impression he really didn't believe you could.
Well, he doesn't want to get his hopes up, Mrs. Thatcher. Mark my words. We'll have the demonstration Saturday night, and the mayor will be there.
I
I didn't come to your office to play games, Lucas.
Yeah, hold on a minute, Carey.
You've got to ban the demonstration and run this Marvelli fella out of town.
Out of the question. What grounds do I have for asking him to leave town?
Witchcraft, Lucas. That's what he's practicing.
Oh, come now, Carey. This is the 20th century. I'm not going to restage the Salem witchcraft trials here in Visalia.
Now, who's talking about trials?
No, what are we talking about? Lynching? Tarring and feathering? What have the people of this town turned into?
God-fearing, public-spirited citizens.
All who just happen to have relatives buried at Atwood Cemetery.
That's exactly right. Now, Lucas, you trying to make it out that there's something wrong with people who don't want their dead disturbed?
And what about you, Carey? You don't have anyone at Atwood unless you count Phyllis Thatcher. I believe she used to work for you before she was killed.
And what's that supposed to mean?
Just what I said. Nothing more, nothing less.
What you're insinuating is so vile that you ought to be made to pay for it. Believe me, Lucas Kane, this is something I ain't forgetting. I'll make you eat your words, all right?
I don't know what you're talking about, Carey. All I said
I heard you, Lucas, and by heaven you can thank the Lord I haven't got a horsewhip, because I...
What's going on here? You and Carey sound like you're thinking of starting your own private war.
Sheriff, you better talk some sense into Lucas. He's heading for a peck of trouble.
Yeah, well, old Lucas was always stubborn, Carey. You ought to know that.
Now, this is a serious matter, Sheriff, and you can be in trouble, too, unless you can persuade Lucas to stop this godless demonstration in Atwood. Your job is to run Marvelli out of town.
Be with you in a minute.
No hurry, Ralph. I'm not a customer.
Okay. Back so soon. Let me lock up and you'll tell me how it went with Mayor Lucas. Darn near closing time anyway.
We got trouble, Ralph.
Lucas still backing and filling, is he?
Oh, yeah. And I don't think we're going to get much help from the sheriff either.
I figured that.
You did? Then why did you send me over there?
Because you sound more convincing for what I got in mind.
Well, we don't have much time. Today's Thursday. Saturday's coming up on us fast. What's the idea?
Money.
No wonder you're the richest man in Visalia. You think money can fix everything.
Name me one thing it can't.
Death.
Funny you should say that. Because I'm betting that money's going to keep the dead dead.
The professor doesn't need money.
Everybody needs money.
You're going to try to bribe the professor?
You use the wrong words. We're going to make a business deal with the professor.
You have any idea on how much he wants?
I know what we're going to offer him.
We?
We're all in it together. We're all going to chip in.
How much?
How much is it worth to you, Carey?
How much are you putting in?
Look, I'll show you the figure we're going to offer him, and then we'll decide on how we're going to prorate it.
You seem to have it all worked out.
Oh, I figured it would end up like this, and I've been thinking about it. Now, here's the amount.
Ooh. That's quite a sum. Where are we going to get that kind of money?
Well, here's another sheet of paper. A list of names and the amounts that you and I expect them to contribute. All adds up.
And suppose these people don't want to ante?
That's why I want you to go along with me to help persuade them.
Come in, gentlemen. Make yourselves comfortable. Well, I am sorry I cannot offer you any refreshment.
We are not interested in the refreshments.
You already know, Mr. Wyndham. My name is Ralph Jameson. I own a hardware store down the street.
Yes. I would like to know the purpose of your visit.
Business, Professor, business. We're here solely on a matter of business.
Professor, there are a lot of people who don't want you to put on that demonstration tomorrow.
Yes, I'm well aware of that, Mr. Wyndham.
Are you also aware that these people are willing to pay you a nice round sum for you to cancel?
Oh, dear me, that does present a problem.
Uh-huh. But not, I hope, an insoluble one.
Well, Mr. Jameson, in my profession, I would be the last person in the world to say anything was insoluble, particularly if there is cooperation.
What's the problem?
Well, a number of people are desperately anxious to witness the demonstration.
But not so anxious that they've offered to pay for it.
Oh, no, not yet. But past experience has proven that people who are anxious quite often...
$3,000, Professor.
Well, I know you don't intend it as such, but that is an insult.
Let's quit horsing around. How much you want?
I haven't even mentioned what this cancellation will do to my reputation.
How much?
10,000.
I said we were businessmen, not a charitable institution. We just might be able to go to
7,500.
You're pricing yourself out of the market. We might just be forced to let the demonstration go on. Now, Professor, I want you to look me straight in the eye, and you'll know bargaining time is over. Our final offer, 5,000.
Cash. No check.
Cash.
Yes, well, we have a deal. Oh, but there is one other matter.
I told you the bargaining was finished.
This does not concern money.
Well?
Yes. Well, you understand, this is my life work. Now, I am willing to call off the demonstration to accommodate you, sir. But I must have a letter from the mayor saying that my demonstration was indeed held and was successful.
The mayor wasn't part of this negotiation.
Nevertheless, I must have the letter. Believe me, sir, this issue is not negotiable. Without the letter, there is no deal.
Understood. We'll be back this evening with the money and the letter.
Lucas will never agree to write such a letter, and you know it, Ralph.
You may be right, Carrie.
Then how could you commit yourself to deliver the money and the letter tonight?
Do you want that demonstration called off?
You know I do.
Then we darn well better put our heads together and find a way to persuade Lucas to write the letter. Or find another alternative.
I heard the professor, and I just don't think there is any. Short of murder.
At most, anything that's ever been said has been said best by Shakespeare. And speaking of murder, the famous bard said, "For murder, though it hath no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ." It would certainly be a miracle if a girl would rise from the dead to point an accusing finger at her murderer. We'll find out in Act 3. What do doctors recommend to avoid constipation? These days, doctors stress the importance of fiber in the diet. Food fiber that helps the system regulate itself naturally. Metamucil is the laxative made from natural fiber. No chemical stimulants. So for occasional constipation, doctors recommend Metamucil more often than any other laxative. The way to overcome constipation is the natural way. But if not nature, Metamucil. Read label and follow directions.
Right. Californians get into natural things. Natural dirt and mud stains.
Spray and wash gets out what America gets into.
In Texas, we get in a big thing.
Yeah!
Big barbecue stains.
Spray and wash gets out what America gets into.
Mississippi mud.
New England chowder.
Kentucky bluegrass.
Spray and wash gets out what America gets into.
Spray and wash even showed Missouri.
About this time every year since 1929, Magicist Carpet and Rug Cleaners has played an important part in your spring cleaning. People all over Chicagoland call Magicist to clean their carpets, rugs, furniture, and draperies. They know they can depend on the Magicist professionals to do the job right. When it comes to spring cleaning, your home isn't really clean unless your carpet, rugs, furniture, and draperies are clean too. Help get rid of annoying winter soil and odors in your carpet and rugs now. Call the Magicist professionals.
Their friendly operators will be happy to give you a free estimate over the phone on all your cleaning needs. And ask about their spring cleaning specials. Remember, for quality spring cleaning, call Magicist Carpet and Rug Cleaners, north at 378-8600 or south 468-4800. Bank cards are welcome. Every Wednesday in April is half day off at Magicist. Save 50% on your rug cleaning with cash and carry. Call Magicist for details. This is WBBM Chicago.
Midnight in a cemetery. The classical setting for hauntings and dark deeds done when the moon hides behind a cloud. But the little town of Visalia was looking forward to a tumultuous, rousing demonstration put on by a man who claimed to be able to raise the dead.
Stupid machine. Do what you're supposed to, you stubborn ignorant.
That's why I stick to my horse, Professor.
Yes, well, I do not sit well on a horse, Mr. Mayor. So I use this modern miracle.
If tonight's demonstration is a success, there are going to be a lot of folks who will figure you can just get up on your broomstick and fly away.
Tonight's demonstration?
Yep, you laid down a challenge to me and the sheriff, and we accepted it. We'll be there.
There is something very wrong here. Mr. Mayor, I want you to look at this.
What's this? I never wrote this letter.
Yes, but it is on official stationery, and it is signed by you.
A forgery. Who gave it to you?
Oh, dear me. Well, it would have been so much simpler for all of us had my machine started.
You figured you'd have been home free after you skedaddled.
Well, I was leaving, true, but in a perfectly honorable fashion. I thought you all knew about it.
Well, now you know I don't. So you just tell me who gave you the letter.
Oh, dear me, I fear that would lead only to complications.
I hope so.
If I give you the name, would you then allow me to leave immediately?
What's your hurry?
Well, I wish only to avoid the complications that you look forward to.
You're in no position to bargain. You show me a forgery and say that you got it from somebody you refuse to name. It just could be that you wrote that letter yourself, since it sure as shooting gives you a good reference.
Yes, I see your point.
Then let's have the name.
Carrie Wyndham.
Before anybody says anything, I just want to let you know, Lucas, that I have work to do in the church, and I don't appreciate the sheriff dragging me over to your office in the middle of the afternoon.
I think you know Professor Marvelli.
Yeah, sure. Now, what's this all about?
Have you ever seen this letter before?
No.
Don't you think you ought to take a look at it before speaking up, Carrie?
What? Oh, sure. Let me see it. Like I said, I never saw it.
Well, now, the professor says that you gave it to him.
You ought to know better than to believe anything he says.
If you don't believe me, perhaps you'd believe Mr. Ralph Jameson. I suggest you check with him.
Good afternoon, Sheriff. Professor, what brings you down to my shop today?
Well, somebody forged Lucas' name in a letter. A letter sort of giving the professor a pat on the back. Now, he claims Carrie Wyndham gave it to him. Now, Carrie denies it, and the professor said to check with you, so, well, I'm checking.
I'm glad. It's time for both of us to face up to what's been happening and what might happen.
I'm asking about the letter.
I made a business deal with the professor. He agreed to cancel the demonstration.
For the letter?
For $5,000.
Enough of this evasion. I am used to being met with mistrust and skepticism, but not with deceit, cowardice, and lies.
Now, you just hold on a second. You admit we made a deal and I forked over $5,000?
Which I will now proceed to return to you.
Oh, not so fast. You can't just decide to...
With the treatment I have received here, I can do anything I want. Mr. Jameson, here is your money. The demonstration will proceed as scheduled.
We made a deal. You can't back out now just by giving back the money.
You didn't keep your bargain. The letter was a fake.
Oh, I'll get you a good one. I'll go to Mayor Lucas myself. Now, the time has come for straight talk between me and the mayor.
Well, how about straight thinking, Ralph? You call yourself a businessman, and you let this here con artist pick your pocket on nothing but empty promises. Lucas knows he can't deliver.
That's not the question. Lucas has been so wrapped up in thinking about him and Willa that he never even bothered about anyone else. If by any chance the professor can deliver, what happens to me and Edie when Rachel comes back and finds us married, Or all the others who've made lives for themselves? What happens to them, Sheriff?
Oh, nothing. He's just a faker.
Your words echo your ignorance. Never once did you ask about the difficulty of working this miracle, or the danger of dealing with those forces I unloose. But tonight, Sheriff, you and Mayor Lucas come and see for yourself. Yes, if you have the courage.
Well, what do you really think, Lucas? You think that the professor has any chance of raising the dead?
Somebody does. Somebody who's a murderer and whose whole attention is focused on not being caught, or even chance it. He's willing to kill again. Took a shot at the professor.
Or forge a letter.
Yeah, maybe. That's why we're going to Carrie's house. Gotta get to the bottom of that letter.
Whoa. There you go. I'll tie him up. You tell Martha we're coming.
Lucas came. And the sheriff. Don't tell me you're coming to see me.
No, Martha. We wanted to talk to Carrie.
Oh, that's a shame. He came home a while ago feeling so poorly, I sent him right to bed.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Martha, but it's real important that we talk with him. Tell him that we're here and we'll be waiting in the parlor.
I hope we can make this short, Lucas. Martha told you I was under the weather.
That's up to you. All you have to do is tell us the truth about that letter.
I never should have gone along with Ralph. I knew he was too sharp for me.
Are you saying that Ralph wrote that letter?
He talked me into writing it.
You mean he paid you?
No, not a penny. It was easy. He knew I wanted that evil demonstration stopped.
Badly enough to forge my name on a letter?
Carrie done what he thought was right. You ought to leave him alone.
Martha? You know something about this letter?
Well, just what I hear now. And, of course, what I heard at the meeting we had about raising the dead. No God-fearing person can hold with that.
Carrie, you must know forgery is a serious crime.
What the professor was fixing to do was a bigger crime.
And that's your entire stake in this?
Oh, don't sound so surprised. I'm not the only one. There's Ralph and all the other good folks who put up the money.
Oh, well, money is one thing. What you did is something else.
Besides, I can understand the way Ralph felt. He was thinking about his situation with Edie if his first wife were to come back.
Exactly. And most of the others have folks lying at Atwood Cemetery whose return might cause some problems. But you and Martha haven't got anyone at Atwood.
By the way you're keeping after poor Carrie, you'd think he'd done something terrible instead of trying to put a stop to godlessness.
Martha, that's just what sticks in my craw. You and Carrie sure know what's right and what's wrong. Yet Carrie went ahead and committed what he must have known was a crime. And for what?
I told you.
You told me, but you haven't sold me.
When I found out what you'd done, I wanted to put you in jail.
I don't blame you.
Well, I do. Maybe Carrie did break the law, but you two are making a great big thing out of this, like there was some importance.
Martha, there's a murdered girl lying in that cemetery, and her mother's frantic to have her brought back to life. But how do you think the murderer feels about it?
What are you saying?
That whoever killed Phyllis Thatcher would have a big stake in stopping this demonstration.
I can see that, Martha, but...
As I remember it, Phyllis used to work for you 3 days a week, Carrie. And I was wondering if you'd try to recollect if there were any friends that she had in particular. Maybe some young fellows who used to hang around. You know the sort of thing I mean.
Oh, sure, but I hardly saw her.
She wasn't a very good worker, you know.
No?
Martha, you oughtn't to speak.
Then why did you keep her on, Martha?
Why don't you just take me to jail, Sheriff, and leave Martha alone?
Better ask Carrie why I kept her on.
Now, Martha, it's all over and done with.
What's over and done with, Carrie?
Oh, you know women. Martha somehow got it in her head that I was taking a shine to Phyllis.
Oh, taking a shine to Phyllis? Oh, my God. He was out of his mind about her, mooning over her like a lovesick calf, and she encouraging him, and the both of them laughing at their secret little jokes when they thought I didn't hear.
Now, Martha, calm down. You'll be getting one of your spells again.
Spells. That's what that little slut cast over you, all right. And you, worrying about whether she was doing too much, while I was working my fingers to the bone. And the two of them always carrying on. Whenever she had to go down to the cellar, Carrie would be running down those stairs like he was a boy of 16.
Martha, I'm telling you to keep quiet. Now, keep quiet.
It's just got to be too much for any decent woman to stand. And so I followed her one day, and I took
Martha!
Carrie's hat laughing and that giggling, that talking, and I killed her.
Please, Martha. Mrs. Wyndham.
Oh, don't worry, Lucas. I'm not hysterical. I just think it's so funny. I made myself a sinner. I killed that girl because I thought my husband didn't love me. And now look what he did just to stop my sin from finding me out. That's enough to make anyone laugh.
Come in.
Well, good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Morning, Professor. What brings you here?
I thought, seeing as how I was instrumental in helping you solve an old murder and catch a killer, that you'd change your mind and write me a letter of reference after all.
Professor, I admire your gall.
Oh, not at all, not at all. If you stop to consider, you must admit that without Marvelli and the notice of the demonstration...
Which never came off.
Only because some of your fellow townspeople wanted to pay me enough so that I needn't.
Admiring your call is one thing, but writing a letter to help you continue with this swindle is quite another. The only letter that I'll write for you is one stating that you helped a murder investigation. And if you don't want that, take yourself and your schemes and your newfangled motor car and get out of town.
It's difficult to believe in someone having the power to raise the dead. But how about fate? Here was a murder, undetected for a number of years, and finally uncovered only because a swindler chose Visalia as the target for his scheme. For scheme it was. Records show that in the 19th century, there was a real-life con man who preyed upon the superstitious and the gullible by undertaking to raise the dead, and then accepting money not to do so. I'll be back shortly.
Was the kidnapped Lindbergh baby really murdered? Connecticut businessman Harold Olson believes he is Charles Lindbergh Jr. This shocking possibility is explored in the new paperback In Search of the Lindbergh Baby, written by former United Press reporter Theon Wright. Was Bruno Hoffman electrocuted for a murder that no one committed? Is Harold Olson the missing link? Read the startling evidence In Search of the Lindbergh Baby from Tower Books, wherever paperbacks are sold.
Hi, I'm Susan Anton. Fitness that feels good by day needs firmness that feels good by night. That's why you'll love the Certa Perfect Sleeper. Luxurious top comfort plus deep inner support. You get both with every perfect sleeper. So remember, be a perfect sleeper. Buy a perfect sleeper, perfect sleeper. It's a healthy investment in yourself.
Looking for work? If you are 18 years of age or older, a resident of South Suburban Cook County, unemployed or underemployed, and economically disadvantaged, the South Suburban Cook County Job Bound Center can help you. The Job Bound Center helps people and jobs get together, and there is no charge. The Job Bound Center is located on the campus of Prairie State College in Chicago Heights. For more information, call 754-3000. That number again is 754-3000. A message from South Suburban Cook County Job Bound Center and WBBM News Radio 78.
Hello, this is Mary Tyler Moore for the American Diabetes Association. Each day presents us with choices. But if you have diabetes, you have no choice. You must learn how to live with diabetes, or you won't live very well or very long. The American Diabetes Association will teach you or someone you love how to live. We teach diabetes survival. We have the information you need. Call your local American Diabetes Association. We're in your phone book.
I'm sure a lot of us remember the motion picture, The Sting. But I wonder how many of us know that this was loosely based on a real swindle pulled off by the famous Yellow Kid and his partner, the Deacon. The Yellow Kid's real name was Awhile, and he swindled people out of more than $1 million in his lifetime and spent a good deal of time in jail. However, when I met him one day, he gave me an unforgettable piece of advice. Kid, he said to me, remember, you can never con an honest man. Bankers are the best. Our cast included Ray Owens, Ralph Bell, Earl Hammond, and Marion Seldes. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.